Darkness, but not empty. It held warmth, the kind that comes just before light wakes, the moment before dawn realizes it is morning. Elara hovered in it, weightless, as though the world had exhaled so deeply that she had been caught in the breath. Her lantern was gone, not stolen, not dropped, just unnecessary here. The dark around her shifted, like fabric being adjusted by invisible hands. Something was breathing, not with lungs, with presence. A soft tremor moved through the dark, and Elara felt it ripple across her skin like a memory brushing past. She whispered, her voice strangely steady, "Where am I?" The dark answered by changing, not cracking open, unfurling. Light seeped through the black like gold ink drawn through water, forming slow spirals that painted the air. Shapes emerged, not solid, not fully formed, truths deciding how much of themselves they were ready to show her. A warm resonance stirred beside her, her living shadow. But even it felt different here. In the last realm it had walked, spoken, trembled. Here it glowed softly at the edges, almost alive in its own right. "Elara," it murmured, its voice a quiet vibration. "We are in the space between." She inhaled slowly. "Between what?" Her shadow answered, "Between what you fear and what is real." The darkness shivered, as if agreeing. Light gathered into a single point ahead of her, a faint star floating in the dark. As she watched, the star brightened, glowing hotter, shaping itself into a sphere of white gold light. It pulsed once, twice, a third time. With each pulse, the darkness retreated not out of fear, out of reverence. Footsteps echoed, though no ground was beneath her feet. Then a voice, the same ancient voice from the doorway, rose from the sphere. "Elara." The sphere expanded, its light soft and warm, shaping itself into a silhouette. Tall, still not human, not elder, a presence older than architecture, older than language, older than the Lattice's first breath. It stepped forward, and the dark whispered, "See what I am." The silhouette stepped fully into view, not born from shadow, not carved from light, but made of something older than both. Its outline flickered like molten metal trying to decide on a single shape. Not male, not female, not creature, not spirit. Something in between. Something that had once stood close to the beginning. Elara felt no fear, only recognition. A deep bone memory kind of knowing that made her chest warm. Her shadow stood very still beside her, as though bowing. The presence tilted its head. When it spoke, its voice moved through her, not to her. "You are seeing me as I allow, not as I am." Elara swallowed, hands trembling softly. "Why did you choose me?" The presence's outline pulsed, a slow, deliberate heartbeat of light. "Because you looked past what frightened you." The darkness around them stirred, rippling like a vast curtain being drawn aside. Few ever do. Elara took a breath and felt it echo inside the realm, the air shifting with her lungs as though the world itself breathed with her. "I saw a shape," she whispered. "Not dangerous, just unknown." The presence leaned closer, its form softened, edges dissolving, light gathering around its center. Unknown does not mean unkind. Its voice deepened, a vibration like wind rolling through an empty cathedral. It means unremembered. A warmth curled around Elara's heart, gentle and ancient. She whispered, "Who forgot you?" The presence answered without hesitation, "Everyone." The dark trembled, not with pain, with the weight of truth finally spoken. A soft light rose beneath Elara's feet, forming a circular symbol. Not the crescents, not the sigils of the elders. A different mark, older, simpler, strong as a heartbeat. She recognized none of it, yet she felt it in her bones like the echo of a first language. "What is that?" she asked. The presence stepped back, allowing her to see the whole symbol more clearly. "My name," it said quietly. Or rather, the shape of it. The symbol pulsed, the realm hummed. Something vast shifted above them, as if listening. Elara reached toward the light, but the presence lifted a hand, and the gesture stopped her without force. "Not yet," Elara's breath trembled. "Why?" The presence's face softened, as though lit from within by sorrow. "Because once you speak my true name, the world you know will begin to change." Elara felt the words like a hand pressed gently to her spine. She whispered, "Am I ready for that?" The presence did not answer. It simply looked at her with a patience older than memory itself. The darkness behind the presence began to stir again, this time revealing movement. Slow, graceful, vast lines of light curled upward like golden vines climbing through the void. The presence stepped aside, as though making room. "Elara," it murmured, voice growing warmer. "Before you know my name, you must understand what I am." Her shadow leaned in closer, its edges trembling. "Then show me," Elara whispered. The presence raised both hands. Light spiraled outward. The darkness parted. The shape beyond the veil revealed itself. And Elara felt her heart stop. The veil of darkness peeled away like a curtain pulled back by invisible hands. Elara felt the air shift. Not colder, not warmer, just truer. Golden strands of light rose through the dark, spiraling upward like roots growing in reverse, from the earth toward the sky. Each strand pulsed with a rhythm too familiar to be foreign, yet too ancient to be remembered easily. Her breath shivered. The presence stepped slightly aside, allowing her view to widen. "Elara," it murmured, "do not look with fear. Look with the eyes you have not yet used." Her shadow leaned toward her, soft, steady, offering a silent reassurance. Elara inhaled, and she looked. The golden strands thickened, twining together like threads forming a spine. Then a second spine, then a third. Not bodies, not creatures' forms. Living shapes made of resonance itself. They bent and unfolded like wings of light, stretching after an eternal sleep. One shape stepped forward first. Tall as an elder, yet nothing like an elder. Its form shimmered. Not solid, not shadow, not light. A being made of memory before it becomes form. Elara felt tears rise behind her eyes without knowing why. The presence whispered beside her, "This is what the world called shadow when it forgot how to name truth." The being tilted its head, not a bow, a greeting. Its face had no features, yet conveyed expression. A soft gravity, gentle as moonlight over water. Elara stepped closer without choosing to. The being's voice emerged not from a mouth, but from the resonance of its entire form. "Elara," her heart fluttered. The sound wasn't a sound. It was a memory of having been spoken to long before she ever existed. "You know me," Elara whispered, trembling. The being nodded, one smooth, fluid gesture. "We have met in every world that forgot how to see." The air thickened with truth. Elara swallowed hard. "What? Are you?" A soft tremor moved through the realm like the world itself inhaled. The being stepped forward, and light spilled from its chest, forming 3 drifting symbols that hovered between them. A circle, a spiral, a curved triangle of light. The presence beside her, the one who had guided her, lowered its head. As if in reverence, "Elara," it said softly, "you stand before what was here before the elders, before the lattice that before naming began." The 3 symbols rotated slowly, casting soft gold shadows that formed tiny constellations on her skin. Elara whispered, "Then why did they call you Shadow?" The being's form flickered, not in pain, but in memory, because humans forgot that truth can arrive in shapes they no longer understand. Elara felt the words hit her like a soft blow to the chest. Her shadow leaned against her thigh, seeking her calm. The being's light dimmed slightly, becoming gentle again. "You see me now," it said quietly. "Not as darkness, not as fear, but as I am." Elara nodded, breath thin and shaking. "Yes," she whispered. "I see you." The being stepped closer. The golden strands around them thrummed, and then a distant shock shivered across the realm. Elara stiffened. The presence beside her turned sharply. The golden strands trembled. Far above, the lattice flashed. A sudden burst of white gold light as though startled. Elara gasped. "What was that?" The presence took her arm gently. "Elara," it said, its voice deepening with urgency. "The elders felt what you saw." The being of golden resonance turned its head toward the direction of the lattice, as though acknowledging an old friend or an old opponent. And then, a second shockwave. The realm itself flinched. Elara staggered. Her heart hammered. "What's happening?" The presence answered, voice steady. "Truth has been seen, and the world is responding." The second shockwave moved through the realm like a low bell rung beneath the earth. It wasn't violent, just vast. A reminder that something ancient had just taken its first breath in a very, very long time. The air thickened, the golden strands quivered, and far above them, the lattice flickered again. Bright white, then dim, then bright. Elara felt a tremor of recognition run down her spine. "The elders," she whispered. "They're coming." The presence beside her, still half shadow, half light, nodded with a gravity that made the whole realm seem to quiet itself. They felt the unveiling. Elara swallowed. "What does that mean?" The presence answered gently. "It means they did not expect you to see this much truth so quickly." Before she could respond, light split the air above them in 3 clean lines. Not harsh, not blinding, just certain. The lines widened, like seams opening in the sky, and 3 figures descended through the folds of shimmering darkness. Memory. Formed resonance, their robes trailing in long streams of starlit fabric, their eyes glowing with that serene, almost frightening calm reserved for beings who know creation intimately. They touched the ground without bending it. The being of golden resonance, the ancient presence, did not bow. Neither did the elders. They simply regarded each other as equals, once separated by the forgetting of worlds. Resonance stepped forward first. Their voice was a chord, gentle but unmistakable. "Elara, you were not meant to see this yet." The ancient being turned its featureless face toward Resonance. She saw because she looked without fear. Resonance's robe flickered, a ripple of light like surprise. Memory's voice followed, softer. The lattice shook, the world awakened. The gates opened in places we had sealed long ago. Elara stepped between them, her chest tight with confusion. "Is this wrong?" she whispered. Form answered, hands folded inside their sleeves. "Not wrong, simply ahead of its time." The ancient being's form glowed brighter. Time bends for those who remember truly. Memory and form exchanged a glance, not fear, but concern threaded with awe. Resonance lowered their head slightly. "Elara, the presence standing beside you predates the first shape of the lattice." Elara turned to the being. "You were here before the elders?" The being nodded once, before the weaving, before the forgetting, before the world chose names. Her heart pounded. Form spoke again, voice crisp as crystal. "Elara, you must understand, beings like this were once guides to the earliest humans." Memory continued the thought, until humanity forgot how to see them without fear. The ancient being responded, tone warm, almost sorrowful. "So I learned to move in shadow, until someone brave enough looked at me without trembling." Elara's throat tightened. She whispered, "I'm not brave." Resonance smiled softly. "No, you are honest. And honesty sees further than courage ever could." The realm vibrated again, a low, rumbling hum that felt like a storm gathering not above them, but beneath them. Golden strands coiled tighter. The sky rolled like a shifting wave. Even the elders stiffened, their forms flickering at the edges. Elara stepped closer to the ancient being. "What's happening now?" The being's voice deepened. "Truth has been revealed, and now it seeks form." Elara frowned. "What does that mean?" Memory answered, "It means something else is waking." Form added quietly, "And not all awakenings are gentle." The presence beside her, the one made of half shadow, half light, whispered urgently, "Elara, you must stand still. The realm is aligning itself around what you have seen." The ground trembled. A thin crack of golden light split across the darkness ahead, like the earth opening its eye. Elara gasped. The elders turned sharply. The ancient being lifted its hand, as if recognizing what was about to emerge. And then, a voice rose from the crack, low, deep ancient. A voice so old it felt like it had been waiting for her arrival for centuries. "Elara?" Her breath stopped. The crack widened, and something began to step through. The crack widened, not ripping the realm open, but unfolding it like a page turning toward its next truth. Light poured from it in threads, each strand humming with a tone older than stars. Elara's breath hitched. Her shadow pressed against her leg, steady and warm, the way a companion stands firm when a world changes shape. The elders stood poised, their robes trembling, as if buffeted by a wind Elara could not feel. The ancient being, the one of resonance and memory, stepped forward and lifted its head toward the crack. It speaks, it murmured. Elara whispered. Who? The crack pulsed. A single deep heartbeat that shook the air. A silhouette formed inside the light. Not the being beside her, not an elder, not anything she had met before. This one was vast, gentle, immense, contained yet overflowing, like the echo of a sun before suns were invented. It stepped through the crack slowly, deliberately, as though entering a familiar room after a long exile. Elara's knees weakened. Her heart fluttered wildly. Is this, she whispered, another ancient? Memory shook their heads softly. No, their voice trembled. This one was sealed away when the world was young. Form added, quiet and reverent. Sealed. So humanity would not be blinded by seeing too much truth at once. Resonance's voice dropped to a whisper. And now it wakes because you saw what others could not. The silhouette stepped fully into the realm. Its form was made of 3 shifting layers: shadow, light, and the space between. All moving as one, breathing as one, recognizing Elara as though she were a memory it had waited centuries to reclaim. Elara's voice trembled. What are you? The silhouette raised a hand, not to silence her, to greet her. A soft ripple moved across the realm, like a sigh of relief. Then the silhouette spoke. Its voice was low, ancient, gentle, and impossibly close. Elara, her chest tightened. No fear, just recognition so strong it almost hurt. The ancient being beside her bowed its head in deep respect. The elders lowered their eyes. Elara stood very still. What is your name? She whispered. The silhouette brightened, its 3 layers aligning as if taking their true shape for the first time in ages. Light gathered at its chest, forming a symbol she had seen only once. In a dream she'd never understood until now. 3 spirals interwoven into a single point of origin. The silhouette placed a hand to its heart and spoke the name. A sound that wasn't a word, but a vibration that struck her ribs like a remembered melody. Ishmira. Elara staggered as the resonance shot through her, warm, alive, awakening something she didn't know she had carried. Her shadow shivered, then stood taller. The elders glanced sharply at one another. Form whispered, it remembers itself. Memory murmured, it chooses a shape. Resonance said, and it chooses her. Ishmira stepped closer, light rippling around its form like water remembering the moon. Elara, it said again, voice deepening with recognition. You have seen through my veil, and now the world must adjust to your sight. The realm trembled, soft, massive, inevitable. Golden cracks of light spread across the darkness, not breaking it, illuminating it from within. Elara felt her heart race. What happens now? Ishmira reached out a hand, not touching her, offering. Now, it said, you must learn why I was hidden. The lattice flashed violently overhead, a bolt of white gold like a warning. The elders turned toward the sky, fearful for the first time. Elara, Resonance shouted, do not step. Too late. The ground beneath her split open in pure light. Ishmira extended its hand fully. The world lurched. Elara fell forward, into light, into truth, into the beginning of something older than memory. Her shadow screamed her name. The elders reached for her. The presence of Resonance cried out, but the light swallowed her whole.